Hey you guys, it's been a minute, it's been a few days since I've done any videos, and I am going to record a tutorial today for the notebook folio from the Forest Witch journal that I know a lot of people asked if I could do a tutorial for it. I haven't got round to it yet. I've been either really busy or really unwell, and it's been a bit of a time, but I thought let's have a catch up, and I'm going to talk you through a few things that I'm really excited about actually. Show you a few things that I've found, and tell you what I'm going to do with some of them excuse me, and why. So a few months ago, some of you may remember the school book of Janice Day. I started collecting old papers and really old books that were falling apart and stuff, and some of them are in good enough condition that I won't break them down into parts, but then things like this where, I mean, literally all this is the rest of that particular book here. It literally is just, it's fallen to pieces, and all of the signatures had already split down the middle, so I can't rebind them, and it's literally falling to pieces. But I'm gonna try to make that into a new journal cover, and I'm gonna scan. There's the most beautiful illustrations and stuff in these, so I'm gonna, you know, scan them in, and I'll pop those. Some I'll do as free printables, others I will put into my Etsy shop. But I will also sell some of the loose pages. Most of these books I've got are from the 1800s, and some of the very early 1900s. So I will be doing paper packs again like I used to do, but that'll be when I've had chance to go through them all. I've got an absolute stack of books, like it's got ridiculous. But I wanted to show you, I put a post in one of my journaling groups this morning when I found this. I went to pick up a bag full of very old and mostly already destroyed books from a lady I've been buying things from. I found her on our local Facebook marketplace, and unfortunately her pictures are always so blurry that you can't really read what's on the spine. But as you can probably see, I wasn't expecting that. I just saw the spine, it's got the beautiful ridges in it, and I thought, oh, that's dying to become a journal cover. And then I saw what it was, and I'm not even remotely religious, but I still have a, you know, a real appreciation of things like this, you know. And this was 1854. I thought it was 1880, but having looked into it now, it's actually 1854. And I don't know if you can, yeah, you can. It's got the most unusual cover on it I've ever seen. And like gilt edge pages and stuff, which a lot of them did, but this cover, at first I thought it was bound down and it had just come loose, and then I realised that in fact no, it's part of the cover. But it's got these incredible maps in the back of, there's one, the Roman Empire, you know, and that kind of thing, and it's got an inscription, but I haven't been able to get anywhere with that yet. But it also turns out that it was held at the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery until I don't know when. But yeah, it was gifted to somebody in 1880, and Old and New Testaments and everything. The pages are absolutely intact, but I don't want to mess with it until, you know, I know more about it, because I was going to try to rebuild the cover on it at least, and then just keep it as a piece with the other ones that I can't, you know, that I won't destroy, because they're, you know, they're so old and so beautiful, and I will only take apart books that are literally on their last legs. If this had been a different kind of book, I probably would say, okay, well, that cover is completely wrecked. But to be fair, because the pages are in such good condition and the binding's only splitting slightly, but it is really fragile. So I don't know, I just don't want to break that down for parts. So I'll keep you guys posted what the valuation office has to say about that one. But yeah, so I've got this bundle of books, and I just thought you guys might be like find them as fascinating as I do, because there is this one, 301 Things a Bright Girl Can Do by Jean Stewart. And a lot of these books don't come with dates, like really old books. they often don't have the dates inside the front covers and things like that. But I think this one I found out was, oh, I think this one was like 1910. I think I've put the pages, oh, I've put them in backwards, that's why. But as you can see, I mean, the back of it is completely wrecked. So I'm just trying to see, I'm sure I wrote on this in a little, just a little pencil mark, because I won't go far with them. Oh, there we go. So it's the News Chronicles Housewives Handy Book, 1930 this one was. And it's absolutely fascinating because, well, when I went to pick it up, it was in the bag, and literally it just had, as you see it now, it was, you know. So I thought, right, okay then. And I had to have a little look through it because I am endlessly fascinated by them. But this one I thought was brilliant because it's got things about, you know, dressmaking, all sort of, you know, how to fit a paper pattern, and, you know, different ways of dressmaking. And there was a huge section on embroidery, cookery book, and there's all of these amazing recipes in there, which I'm going to be making note of a few of these, let me tell you. But yeah, the sewing section, which I don't know quite where it is, I think I've got these out of order from looking through them, but I will put them back. But it, you know, it's got gardening, hairstyling, beauty for the housewife if you're not too tired from all the other things that it says that you can do, you know. Letter writing templates, you know, how to berate a lover. It's absolutely fantastic. In fact, I think I've got those the wrong way round. I think that's this cover. Yes, I'm lying, that's this cover. The 301 Things a Bright Girl Can Do is that book there. So yeah, this one is the Handy Housewives Guide, but it's just absolutely rammed full of some of the most beautiful things I think I've ever seen in my life. As you can see, that science for the housewife, the business of the home, you know, everyday etiquette. So I'm going to show you a couple of the other bits, like some bits and pieces, and then I'm going to tell you what my plans are for these. So yeah, this one, as you can see, was quite a tome, and again arrived with all the signatures split open and no spine. And this one is from 1911, and yeah, by Jean Stewart, and it's illustrated, and it's just incredible because everything in there, from, you know, sports, and oh, what was the other ones I saw? There was maths, there was drawing, you know, because you know, if you're bright you can draw apparently. But these beautiful illustrations in here, and there's lots of photographs as well. Sorry, not photographs, like architecture illustrations, and oh, it's just absolutely beautiful. So there's that one. Obviously I can't go through every single thing that's in this book, but yeah, how to walk gracefully, how to wash a golf jersey, because obviously all girls need to know how to do that, you know, how to make squash and juices, you know, there's a whole chapter on making drinks. And it just makes me laugh because it's all these things that you have to be bright, you know, to be able to do these. You know, to read Shakespeare you have to be bright apparently. So yeah, so that's that one, which, as I say, is absolutely massive. That one is the Ocean World that I was showing you bits of earlier on, but again, gorgeous illustrations and pages, so that's really lovely. But that was just literally falling to pieces. But this one, I did actually post some pages from this one, some example pages. Oh, hold on, sorry, I have to be, I know it's silly because they've literally fallen to pieces, but I still have to treat them carefully, you know. I don't know why, I just have to. But yes, this one, Roses and Rose Gardens by Walter P. Wright, and again came to me in the condition that you see here. But it's been chewed by a rabbit, apparently. The lady that I bought it from, her rabbit chewed it up. But it has the most, let me just pull the camera back a little bit just so that I can show you a bit better. So there is this is the first edition, which is a real shame considering the, you know, the condition that it was in, but it's got the most just absolutely stunning things in it. It originated in a nursery, a flower nursery, in the UK. The Wright family, from what I can make out, the Wright family owned the rose nursery, and so they would there's pictures of the actual nursery and everything in here, and I say a mass of illustrations, but obviously when you're trying to find them you can't, you know, that's just the way of things, isn't it? But I think there's actually an index that tells you what pages they're on. But anyway, I mean, just look at that, would you? How gorgeous is that? Insect enemies of roses, apparently. So when I got this one, which was just before I got these ones, I thought, you know what? I know that this cover is so battered, and it really is. I've trimmed down some of the rough edges that were still hanging off of here, but some of the cloth tape is still attached there. So what I thought was, long story short, why not try to somehow create a journal from this whilst leaving the cover that is here as it is. So I'm thinking about maybe some eyelet binding or something, exposed spine, you know, eyelet binding or something, with using some pages and some of the illustrations and stuff within the journal, which I thought would be kind of nice, but make it into a proper junk journal rather than an altered book. And then I had another idea, and I know this is absolutely ridiculous, but in the true nature of junk journaling, obviously, so all of this came away from the edges of this that were just hanging off in, you know, pieces of string hanging all over the place, and some of the bits came off this morning from one of the other books. But I thought, how cool would it be if I could somehow incorporate all of this into the journal? And I thought, well, what about if I was to make a masterboard, again using some of the illustrations and pages from the book, you know, but with all of this somehow incorporated around the masterboard. So I thought, well, I've got a lot of pages and I've got a lot of bits and things, of old cloth tape that's literally falling to pieces as it is, you know. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that could be good. This was a spine off of one of the other books that came kind of attached to one signature like that. So that's of no use to me. It's literally falling to pieces. So yeah, so I thought maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think that would be something really cool to make a masterboard out of all of this, and then somehow, as I say, incorporate it, or maybe attach some to the cover somehow as well? You know, basically I'm looking to you guys to say, okay, what would you do if you had all of this in front of you? You know, and you really wanted to make as much use of it as you could, because it's just so beautiful. I'm trying to remember if I'm sure I found out what date this one was, because I say a lot of them just don't ever have the dates in them, but I think, oh, there we go, this edition, oh, this is the 3rd edition, 1927. So yeah, I don't know, it just seemed like a really great idea to try to use as much of it as I possibly can. And also there will obviously be a hell of a lot of pages left over, which will go into paper packs on my Etsy and my eBay, but also the beautiful illustrations that I will use in the book itself, the journal that I make, I'll be scanning those first and putting digitals up of those. So obviously, because I don't know how many copies of that book still exist, I don't know how rare the imagery is in there, so I think it'd probably be really nice for people to be able to get hold of it. I also picked up, this is like 1952 or something, and the other one is like 1960. or it might be 1947 and 1960, but again, these, you know, the covers aren't even attached, so I'm just like, they'll be going into book pages as well. And I thought maybe somebody would be happy to get the, you know, the covers from the books, sort of to use as ephemera and stuff like that, because I have them. So yeah, basically, tell me what you think about the idea. Tell me whether or not you'd like some papers from, you know, from all of these. But and I've got more as well that I haven't started to look through yet and break down, that are in just as bad, if not worse, condition than these were. So it's the only time I've been able to salvage books like those, because although they get sent to like charity shops and stuff in the UK, the charity shops won't sell them, certainly where I live anyway. They won't sell them to you. They send them off and they get pulped. So basically they get broken down in water and made into pulp and then recycled into, you know, new paper, which is great and all, but I would much rather have the books that have fallen apart and keep them to some extent the way that they were, you know, the original book itself to still exist in some form, you know, whether it's just as ephemera used for other things within journals, you know, that kind of thing, or book folding, you know, sort of that sort of thing, because at least then it still exists rather than it just being turned to nothing. So I've become a bit of a sucker for this kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you think, guys, and I'll catch you back here later on with the tutorial for the folio.